Noor Nanji of BBC on MSN wrote an article about David and Victoria Beckham's conflict with their son, Brooklyn. It's entitled, "The Bombshell Beckams Post, From Wedding Dress Drama to Hijacked First Dance." I'll be referencing their section titles that describe the events depicted in Brooklyn's comments. I find it interesting because it's such a case study in family dynamics, lifestyles of the rich and famous, as well as the ways that children cope with conflicts between them and their parents. I don't know how much of this is true. However, I do find it fascinating when children take steps away from their family, a family that is, in this case, marketed to be a tight-knit bunch, and then one or more abruptly break away. Brooklyn might be the black sheep of the family in that he finds the idea of establishing his own family nucleus separate of his immediate family to be more beneficial to he and his wife. Since this is all alleged, I'm viewing it as a fun thought exercise. As a disclaimer, I'm not passing judgment. I'm merely sharing my reflections. While I don't know these individuals personally, I do find the reports surrounding this family's drama to be worth exploring. So let's start with Victoria hijacking the first dance. In front of our 500 wedding guests, Mark Anthony called me to the stage, where in the schedule was planned to be my romantic dance with my wife, but instead my mom was waiting to dance with me. She danced very inappropriately on me in front of everyone. I've never felt more uncomfortable or humiliated in my entire life. If this allegation holds any truth, I can see why he and Nicola would feel upset, angry, and uncomfortable. This situation is truly terrible on multiple fronts. First, it's simply bad manners to divert attention away from a couple on their wedding day. Most people recognize that the ceremony is meant to honor the couple's union. Guests are there to support, admire, and offer encouraging words, not to steal moments for themselves. This behavior is even more troubling when it's one of the couple's own parents acting in this manner. Furthermore, the comments regarding his mother dancing inappropriately with him in public are extremely unsettling. They imply that there may be an inappropriate dynamic between the mother and son. Based on Brooklyn's comments, it seems his mother might have an unhealthy attachment. Why would a mother feel so at ease dancing with or on her son as if she were the bride instead of the mother? Her behavior resembles enmeshment, which is an unhealthy dynamic characterized by blurred boundaries, a parent treating their child like a best friend, and feeling jealous of their other relationships, especially romantic ones. Next, we have Dressgate. Brooklyn accused his parents of attempting to sabotage their wedding. He pointed out that his fashion designer mother had canceled the creation of Nicola's dress at the last minute, despite her excitement to wear it, forcing her to scramble for a new one. Reportedly, Victoria had initially offered to design Nicola's wedding dress, but withdrew her offer just before the event. Anyone who has ever organized a wedding knows how special a bride's dress is. Choosing one is a significant moment. Moreover, the entire wedding planning process can be incredibly stressful. The last thing anyone wants is a sudden and unexpected change that leads to a frantic search for an alternative. To reiterate, I can't confirm the truth of this situation, but if it is accurate, I can see why Nicola might feel resentment toward Victoria for adding such stress to what would be a momentous occasion. Likewise, Brooklyn's anger toward his parents for contributing to his wife's distress is understandable. It appears that Victoria is unintentionally making a case for disliking Nicola. It raises questions such as, are you trying to undermine this woman's special day? Are you deliberately inflicting pain out of spite or malice? If either is the case, it's easy to see why both would want to distance themselves from her. These are just two instances highlighting Victoria's behavior. She seems to be establishing a pattern of enmeshment with her son Brooklyn, along with demonstrating tendencies to interfere. It makes me wonder if she frequently inserts herself into her son's relationships. Is this her usual behavior, or is she acting this way specifically because she has issues with Nicola? The final two examples bring David's behavior into the forefront. Let's start with the 50th birthday party snub. In his post, Brooklyn says that he and his wife had traveled to the UK for his father David's birthday, but were rejected for a week as we waited in our hotel room trying to plan quality time with him. He refused all our attempts unless it was at his big birthday party with 100 guests and cameras at every corner. He also revealed that his dad agreed to see him under the condition that his wife would not be there. In this instance, we're seeing problematic behavior from the dad. He seems to be stonewalling them. I don't know what kind of manipulative game he was playing, but it seems to have the intention of punishing them in some way, shrinking them so that they feel reduced to nothing. In dismissing them and rejecting their attempts, he is showing them that they are not high on his priority list. That must have been very hurtful for Brooklyn and his wife. Not to mention the type of rift created when a parent or parents decide that they don't like their child's spouse and are going to openly show their disdain. Only agreeing to see them if tons of people are around and if there are cameras suggests that their family dynamics and perhaps relationship status is for show. I wouldn't be surprised by a celebrity couple staging a, quote, perfect life and the perfect family, wanting to only highlight good times with their family as if they have it all together and nothing is amiss. David and Victoria are quite experienced with turning it on for the camera, so it wouldn't surprise me if they were leveraging family time for media attention. Last is brand Beckham comes first. Brooklyn says his family values public promotion and endorsements above all else, and that family love is decided by how much you post on social media. I believe that Hollywood couples and families are not the ideal examples to base your relationship and family values on. Many celebrities tend to be more self-centered, superficial, and crave attention. Their prioritization on vanity, wealth, and fame can have a detrimental effect on relationships that ultimately need care and nurturing. A lot of these individuals simply lack the capacity to give what is needed to maintain healthy relationships. Regarding the decision to go no contact with your family, particularly in Brooklyn's case with his parents, I personally see no issue with this. If your parents are not treating you well, and if the relationship is unhealthy and lacks proper boundaries, then it is absolutely justified or justifiable to sever ties. Brooklyn has remarked that I have been controlled by my parents for most of my life. I grew up with overwhelming anxiety. For the first time in my life, since stepping away from my family, that anxiety has disappeared. As a minor, you have no choice but to remain close to your parents, since you rely on them for care and support. However, as a functioning adult, that dependency no longer exists, especially when there are conflicts of interest or personality traits that do not align. As an adult, you can assess your parents through a mature lens and decide if their character is one you can accept. If their conduct and habits do not align with your values, then it is probably best to take a turn for the better and break the cycle of misery.